Hello. Whoa. Let's move this over a bit. Hello, everyone. Hello. Welcome along. Happy Friday. Friday. Yay. Friday beers. How's everyone? Hope you're well. Hello, Hot Doggo. Welcome along. Hope you've had a good week. Hey, 48K. Hey, Super Dan. Welcome along, you guys. Hey, you guys. Yes, I'm having a beer. Good evening to you too, sir. I had a shocking day in work today, where the powers that be, and when I say the powers that be, I mean the work IT systems decided to swallow a document that I spent all day working on. Very important document, just gone, and I was like, oh. Yes, I'm going to enjoy a beer or two, and I'm going to solve some other problems here that are, at least are within my sphere of influence. So I was not happy, and so I just I went home and said, like, no, that's next week's problem. So anyways, yes, there you go. My day has gotten better since then. But yes, what do I work as again? I am an engineer. I work in a medical devices company. So I design. I work on a team. It's not a one-man show. There's about 40 of us. But I work in an R&D team, and we design implants for the aorta, for vascular diseases, that kind of thing. So so that's it. It's cool. It's cool. There's it's 10% engineering and 90% red tape, I'll say. So a lot of the time it's quite boring, but occasionally you do very cool stuff, and we're in a lab full of awesome toys. But that's it. It's one of the most regulated industries that there is. There's aviation and medical devices. That's where all the red tape is. So there you go. Anyways, yeah, there it is what it is, and it's a good, slow moving, but it's a good job. Except today, when it absolutely shafted me. Yeah, well, if we didn't have all that red tape, we probably would kill people. That's the thing, So I suppose you're glad it's there. Hey, well, welcome in, Javier. Welcome in. Enjoy your beers, and I'll talk to you in a second. Well, yes, power. Yes, the power. You could do in the power industry as well, I suppose. Yeah, but there's a reason all that red tape is there, I suppose. So fair enough. Yeah, there you go. So that's the story. How are all you guys? I hope you're all well. Hope you've had a good week, and feel free to join me for a beer if you're in the mood and if it is a suitable time. But it's 5 o'clock somewhere, right? Mm-hmm. Absolutely. So you're in the power industry, I take it, yeah? 48K. Yeah, it's kind of it's a house of cards for all of industry. That's it. Yeah. But there you go. In my previous job, I used to work on lab automation equipment, and that was cool. I think in terms of what I was actually doing, I prefer that. But I didn't prefer the job, if you get me. There were other reasons for not liking it there. But yeah, I used to do firmware and all sorts of things for these little robotic machines that would take test tubes of blood and sort them out and run tests on them and stuff. And that was very cool stuff to work on. But yeah, sadly no coding in this job, other than the odd macro here and there. Yeah. But that's it. Overall, it's a better job. So oh, thank you very much. Oh, look at that. All I'm doing is sitting here waffling and drinking beer, and that's a new subscription or a resubscription. Thank you very much, Hot Doggo. Yeah, the Tool Jam's finishing next month, so it's the end of September now. Tool Jam. Let's give the Tool Jam a little shout out there. Super Dan in the chat there is running this Tool Jam, and it's just about to enter its last month, and that's kind of scary because I am a long way away from finishing my project. But hey, you know, it is what it is, and I'll swear that I will finish it after the jam, and then Dan will come along with another jam that'll distract me, and I'll join that instead. And that's how the world works. Curse you, Dan. Curse you. No, it's awesome stuff. Yeah, but I don't know. He's probably not on it. Probably doesn't even know I stream, to be honest. But there's I'll say a little. Yeah, sorry, not sorry. Let's give it a little shout out to one of the guys in the Scottish Amiga group, who's yeah, basically he provides me with the beer. So there you go. Let me see. Hold on a second. I just have to check something here. Yeah, let's make sure my phone's being quiet. Yeah, so there's a guy in the Scottish Amiga user group, and he comes over to me every so often and says, "Can you solder this up for me? Can you replace this chip for me?" And it's like, usually a short job. I go, "Yeah, no problem." And he always brings over some beer. So yeah. Thank you, out there. So he keeps me in stream beer. Well, yeah. Yeah. Well, there you go. This is the problem. I always aim high. I'm gonna say high, absurdly high. With these things, I'm kind of like, oh, I've got an idea. This is a great idea. I'll easily do this in 6 months. No. And to be fair, I probably could if I didn't have a day job and didn't have a family and didn't have it. This is it. But I didn't have an actual grown-up normal life. But there you go. It's fine. This is this is the way it works. But there you go. Oh, is this guy who needed the solar panels Arduino in chat once? No. I'm trying to remember who that was. But there you get all sorts of interesting ideas floated around in the chat and floated around the people who are my followers. And yeah, I don't remember that. But yeah, it doesn't surprise me. No, I don't think he's actually ever been on the stream. I'm not sure if he's a Twitch kind of guy. He's an Amiga guy, and he is our current Sensible Soccer champion. Because every time there's a Scottish meetup, we have a Sensible Soccer tournament. Actually, speaking of which, Stephen Leary of Terrible Fire fame is hosting his own personal Scottish Amiga user group meetup. As in, he's holding an Amiga party in his house in a couple of weeks. Yeah, that'll be an interesting one. He lives not far from here, and it's going to be a big, basically a 2-day drinking session. But it should be good. If anyone happens to be in Scotland in the next week or in 2 weeks' time, you'll find the details in the Scottish Amiga user group thing on Facebook, or you can probably ping Terrible Fire wherever he is, and he'll show you how to find out. He hasn't published his address for obvious reasons, but there are ways of getting a ticket, which is basically an email with his address on it. So go and ask him, or there's a link to there's a what's it called, an Eventbrite page in the Facebook, the Scottish user group Facebook page. So there you go. Yes, a TF1260 is a lovely thing. I have one here, and I have a unique one because I got it from Mr. Terrible Fire himself. I swapped it for a Solus board, and it is a 64 megabyte card because that was what he had lying around. So everyone else has 128 meg cards. I have a unique one made from leftover bits. Yeah, 2-day Amiga bender. The servos. That rings a bell now. Actually, yeah, that was Andy. That was another one of the Scottish guys. Yeah, but yeah, the 2-day Amiga bender. We had one of them in the there's a regular one in the Amiga Ireland. the Amiga Ireland in January, and actually that's going to be in the 19th of January. If anyone is interested in heading to Ireland for an Amiga show, there's some stuff there. It's going to be the 19th of January, that weekend anyway, and it's the Friday and the Saturday. Basically a 2-day session in a hotel with some things. We also had a big one in the UK that Dan was at, actually. Super Dan was there. We met him in the flesh. The Kickstart show, and that was down in Nottingham this year in the summer. So January and July, it seems like we've got 2 big things within reasonable flight distance. Yeah, basically that's it. Yeah, so Stephen Leary's is a different thing, obviously, because he's doing it in his house. But yeah, people just bring their machines along. They set them up or not. They just come along to have a look at them, and yeah, and you basically spend the 2 days having a few drinks, having the chats, going and looking at other people's machines, seeing what crazy things people are doing with theirs, and yeah, there you go. I should give it. I think I have a Scottish group tag as well. There's the Facebook group for the Scottish group there if you want. But yeah, basically that's it. People get very very precious when you start putting pints down beside them. But to be fair, the one in Nottingham was excellent. It was a big one. So there were 2 halls, and there was a community hall where all the different user groups each user group had a table, and so the Scottish group were there, and we had a bunch of them, and we had flashy lights, and we were playing some games and stuff like that. There were other people had, like the Southwest Amiga group, the Amiga North Thames group. There were all the different groups around the UK had a table, and so everyone brought their Amigas along, and they all had different things going on. It was great to hang out there. And then the other hall had all the commercial stuff, and they had interviews there with some pretty famous people in Amiga terms, like, you know, guys from DMA Design, who are now Rockstar Games. You know, they made Lemmings and all that kind of stuff. Obviously, Grand Theft Auto, and you know, is probably their big one since then. But all that kind of stuff. The Team 17 guys, I think they had Bullfrog guys, Signosis guys. You know, so they do interviews with these people, and that's very cool. And the commercial hall also had a lot of different sellers selling hardware, software. You know, there's some pretty cool stuff. Yeah, it was an excellent weekend. I would highly recommend going next year, because, you know, whatever about Amiga Ireland, Nottingham is kind of easy enough to get to from anywhere in the UK. It's a bit of a trek, but you know, you can get there on the train from most places, you know. So there you go. So yeah, I'm looking forward to that now. The Scottish Amiga Shindig now in a couple of weeks. But yeah, because it'll coincide with my birthday as well, which is cool, or pretty much. So you know, I'm not sure what my wife makes of that, because, you know, normally we'd go out for a meal or a drink or whatever. Instead, I'm going to spend 2 days in a friend's house, and she's not invited. Well, she is invited, but you know, she'd probably be looking after James. But there you go. Anyways. Right, so last stream, I got to the point where I had some working code for a progress bar for copying files. The copying files thing, I want to move to a separate task, and I'm doing it a pretty ghetto way by creating a separate executable that copies the files. Now the problem is, or the puzzle is, how do I get the list of all the file names over to this subtask, this separate executable? And there are a couple of ways of doing this, and one way, which is completely clunky, is to create a text file in the RAM disk, in the, you know, the T directory. Sometimes programs use that as well, its purpose is to be used for temporary files. I could create a text file there and list all the paths in that. But I want to go slightly more sophisticated than that, and I was kind of trying to towards the end of the last stream, I was kind of thinking, how will I do it? But what I did was I found a way to copy the oh, excuse me. You can see here, this is the basic skeleton of my copy program, and you can see here that it takes the address as a parameter. It takes a RAM address as a parameter, and then from there it can give you the name of the first icon, and it works. The problem is that the icons are stored as a linked list in the drawer helper program itself, in the main program. So that means it's not a sequential list in memory, or it's not guaranteed to be sequential. It probably is if there's not a lot else going on, but yeah, it's probably in fact you definitely can't rely on it. You couldn't rely on it being in a sequential order. So the RAM could be anywhere because they get what's it called? They get allocated on the fly. So what I am going to do is probably just allocate a big chunk of RAM and put all the addresses in it, and then send that chunk of RAM over to the other program and launch the program with the address of that other chunk of RAM. That is the plan. And I will yeah, okay, so I'm going to make that up as I go along here. So yeah, I'm just thinking about this now as well. If I do allocate a chunk of RAM like that, I have to have a way of deallocating it, and it'll be a different task deallocating it. Now I have to figure that bit out. That is another problem. If I allocate RAM, can another task deallocate it? Does that work? This is a question I'm going to ask the Autodocs. Let me see. Maybe I could do well, open to suggestions there anyway, but you know, I could do it like, you know, just delete or deallocate the RAM after a certain length of time, but that's messy. That is messy. So I want to say that I would love to be able to pass an array, but I can't pass a dynamic array because it gets allocated on the fly. So the memory's all over the place, it's fragmented, whatever. If I copy a list into memory and pass that memory over, I still have to deallocate it. Let's try it. Let's try and deallocate it with the copy task and see if that works. File copy is here. So this is what it looks like. Oh, that's our actual copy, our individual copy thing. But what we want to do is, when we were over here, we said file copy. Let me remember where we were. Send to, wasn't it? Copy to, yeah. Okay, and there's our command. And drawer helper copy, that's our sub program. That we give it the address of our icon list, and we give the output to the text file. Now, that doesn't run asynchronously anyway, so we could just deallocate it here, but that's not what we want to do, is it really? Okay, so we have icon count. That's the number of icons in the list. So what we're going to do is we're going to allocate a chunk of RAM. And that chunk of RAM is going to be okay, so the a path in Amiga DOS I think has a maximum of 255 characters. I think. I'll have to confirm that, but I think you allocate 200. You can have up to 255 characters in a path. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to allocate a chunk of RAM, so we have one block of 255 characters for each line. we're going to make it 256 because we've got a null character on the end. So our memory requirement is going to be number of icons times 256, or shifted left 8, but that's fine. We already use some sort of alloc. Let's try and use the same type of thing. What did we use it? Oh no, we did it in the actual copy routine, didn't we? Copy routine. We alloc main, we use the OS. Okay, nice, excellent. That's the way we should do it. Oh, where's the music gone? Doesn't seem to be any music. Okay, let's play something else. As always, if the music's too loud or too quiet, let me know. Okay. Right, so here we are. We've got reset copy count. So we've got our icon count, and it's going to be one or more. So and we have a destination window, copied count is 0. We probably don't need that, but let's ignore that for now. So first item in the list, we're going to allocate let me see. Alloc mem. And what memory are we using? Just like normal. Yeah, best. And then byte size and requirements. So the requirements is 0. And byte size is, what did I say, 256 times. And that's it. Now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to include an extra line in that. So we're going to read the first 2 bytes are going to be the number of icons, which is going to be a word variable. So we're going to add on 2 bytes. And so the first 2 bytes are going to be the number of icons that are selected. Okay. And so what we'll do is if put in our error requester just so that we know. And that should give us a decent error message if something goes wrong, if we can't allocate that memory. Always, always, always check to make sure that your memory got allocated, because it's a very definite point of failure that, you know, that it can very easily fail. Like if you try and copy, you know, 10,000 files, and yeah, it just tries to allocate it a big chunk of RAM, and it's just not there, you're gonna have problems. So make sure you always check that you've allocated memory, and you always have to deallocate the memory or it's gone. It's like you can never use that memory again. So yeah, I'm trying to yeah, so you just have to always remember, you always have to have a free mem matching your alloc mem. And so what we'll do is we'll add if path buffer. So what we do is so what we're doing is we're writing if we've allocated that memory, then it's ours to use. We can do whatever we want. Peek and poke are legit things to do there. So we're going to poke. The first 2 bytes are going to be the word variable icon count. Okay, so that tells us we can recalculate the size then at the other end from that, and that should be fine. Okay, so what we'll do is we're just going to basically poke in every single path that we have. So what we're going to do is reset list. So that means we go back to the item 0. So we don't have an allocated item anymore. So so now we go and end while. So little while, end while loop here, and this will cycle through each of the icons, and we'll write the path to the full path is icon list.path. Ooh, do we have to do the destination as well? Yeah, good point actually. We need to do the source and destination. I have to think about that now. How am I going to do that? Okay. Well, next item. So what we're doing is we're writing. Well, let's copy these. Full path string is the actual path that we're looking at, and full destination string is dot part. So this basically puts together what the destination path will be. Now, do we need that for each icon? Do we? Let me think. So, no, because we'll always have, so maybe actually we just need the destination. So we don't need 256 plus icon count. Okay, so we'll add one more line. So the first 2 bytes are going to be the number of entries. Then the first actual 256 byte block is going to be the destination directory, and then we have the other stuff. Okay, so let's do that. So we don't need these, so we definitely don't need that. So let's move that outside the while loop. And what we'll do is we can do a poke string, which is quite cool. Path buffer +2, and that will be the destination. Okay, destination path. Okay, and that should be that. Shouldn't it? Path buffer +2, helpers destination. Okay, and that'll write the path into memory. Now, I have to try and remember if that actually includes the null terminator, because in memory, just to explain, in memory, the strings are pretty much the same layout as they are in C. So at the string address, you have the first character, then second, third, fourth, fifth, okay, all the way up to the last character of the string, and after the last character of the string you've got a 0, a null character, and that's how it knows where the end of the string is. So all strings are null terminated. And C does the same, which means that the OS does the same, so it's good for interoperability and using the OS calls and stuff like that. But in Blitz, I can't remember if it's the same in C, but in Blitz anyway, the actual size of the string is held in the previous 4 bytes of memory. So if your string address is 100, if you go to address 96 and read the long word from there, that'll tell you how many characters are in the string, and it's actually quicker than using the len function, which I believe goes along and actually counts until the null character. But anyway, there you go. Yeah, little as an aside there. So what we're going to do is we're going to poke in that address there, and then we should be able to peak string that back at the other end. Now, let's see. I'm going to read the auto docs for this and just see if it mentions anything. Oh, what's going on here? This happened before and I can't remember what the story was with it. Ugh. Where the help button wasn't working. Why not? Shift is working. Help button isn't working. Why is that? Anyways. Okay, so our full path string and icon list about where we don't really need to actually calculate that for this. So because we're not actually doing anything with it other than poking it into RAM. So okay, we need to count our things. So we'll do a for next loop here instead of the while. We'll do an if next item. Just to make sure there is an item, just in case the count isn't kept coherent, or what's the word? Cohesive, consistent. We'll do that. So we'll do it to icon count -1. Next I. Okay, so this loop is just counting the number of icons we have. And icon list path, that's fine. If next item icon list. Poke icon. Okay, so the address we need is, so path buffer is the base address of our allocation, plus 2 bytes, plus 256 for the first one, and then plus I times 256. So if you remember from school, your how the order of these things work, multiply is always done before adding. So it doesn't matter that it's at the end. I times 256 will be calculated first, and then these will be added on all up together. Okay, so what's happening here is every time we go through the loop, we're going to poke this address 256 bytes further along the block of memory, and we're always going to be offset by 258 bytes because we've got one line for the path and a word here, 16-bit word here, 2 bytes with the number of icons involved. Okay. So, and we know there's at least 1 icon because we checked up here if icon count. So if icon count is non-zero. Okay, that should be it. So that is our thing. And we're going to do this just for our test. Draw helper copy plus. So we send our path buffer as an actual argument in this command string. We'll be able to see that in the debug output, and then we execute that, and then that should be it for that. We're going to comment out this stuff because we don't need that. That's the one we know that works, but it only sends the address of the first entry, and we can't really follow that. So we'll leave that code there for now because we know that works, but it's that's fine. What we need to do here is, yeah, we need to check if this works, but we need our other version here. So we need our copy thing to do that. So our list address is well, let's just redo this. Let's see our mem address. Okay. So this will give us our output, and what we need is yeah. So we'll get rid of all this stuff because we're not using that. And what we'll do is we'll make our own list. And we'll set up that array with 0 items. So what we'll do is we will actually no, we don't need to do that. We don't even need to use a list, do we? Okay. So first thing we do is we check if the memory is a legitimate value. So, and when I say legitimate, we're going to make sure that it's not 0, because if it's 0 because the argument was malformed or something like that, it's bad news. You can't do anything with memory 0. You just don't. So we do that. So that's the first thing we do, and then destination path is equal to mem address plus 2, and now we can assign our array. So our icon count. Oh, first off, we should make sure icon count is more than 0, just in case there's something funny going on. Loads of checks like this because we don't want nasty crashes, even though it seems a bit pointless. Just in case there's something wrong, we just wanted to kind of gloss over it. Okay, so now we've got an array for our paths. Then our path array, let's say actually thinking about it, just a little shortcut here. I'm going to do it in a minute, but what the address we're looking for is memory address plus oh dear. Well, I've got my beer. Thank you, Arthur. Okay, so we're going to read the memory from, so the memory address we're reading from is memory address plus 2 plus 256 plus I times 256. Okay? But of course, I'm seeing if we do the I equals 1 to icon count, it's the same number of steps, but it starts at 200, it starts at an extra line in, so that'll work as well. Okay, so once we've done that, we should have all our stuff there. So let's try. Well, you know what? We're gonna do it without trying to free it first, just to see if this even works, just to see if we can even get this. Okay, so. Another error message in here. Let's see. Actually, you know, we don't need an error message there, because what I'm going to do is I'm going to print out the whole lot here. I am cooking. I'm working on my game jam, my Tool Jam entry, which is for copying files. It's the drawer helper program. You know, it shows up a little toolbar, and what I'm doing is I'm trying to pass my file copying routines onto a subtask, and to do that, I'm copying all the paths that I need to copy. I'm going to write them into memory and then try and read the memory from the daughter program. I'm going to see if that works. I'm going to see if I can deallocate the memory from here. Yeah, so the progress bar is done, but it's not asynchronous. So it blocks the program, so you can only have one at a time. But the intention is to instead open the progress bar separately in a separate task, which means that each task will have its own progress bar, and you can have multiple copy operations going on, and it doesn't block the program, so you can do other things. So that's the idea. Make it multitasking. And we'll see. And we're just going to output so at the moment we're not actually going to copy with this task, we're just going to try and sort out the memory stuff and see if it works. Okay, and now we're going to and we're printing it. So that should be it. Let's just compile it and make sure that invalid memory address. Fine. That's all working so far. It compiles. So we're going to create the executable, and now we're going to see if this works. Hold on to your butts. Oh. Brackets not allowed in blitzlib statement. Why? Poke. What? Line 524. Icon list. If next item. What is wrong here? Reset list icon list. If next item And that has brackets because it's a function. Let's take away the brackets and just see what it tells me. Line 523, yeah. If next item, icon list, 524. If next item. What's happening here? Poke string. The address. Oh, okay, I see what's going on. Okay. Seems to be working for now. Nothing has crashed, nothing has died horribly. Okay, now let's see if we can copy some files. There, that's our destination. Our destination is a RAM disk. Let's copy this file here. Let's send that. Okay. Nice, great. Oh, no, we got a crash. No current item list. Where's that? Full destination dot add. Of course. We don't need that for this bit of the code. This is just, we're going to do this in the child task, so we don't need all this stuff. So we literally just need helpers, test win path. That should be it. Oh, didn't want that. So let's copy files to there. Destination, here we go, send. Oh, what's going on? Oh, close progress bar. We're calling close progress bar even though we only copied one item. Yeah. Okay, that is a bug. That's a separate bug. I'm going to have to take note of that and fix that afterwards. I'm going to test this new code, damn it. Let's copy two files. Destination. Okay. That worked, but let's see. Let's see. What's in here? Test.text. Two icons to copy to RAM disk. They are our icons. Perfect. Perfect. And they're copying to RAM disk. Also the exact right thing. Okay, that's good. That's good. That much works. That's cool. Now, let's try deallocate that memory. Because we've lost that memory. That memory was allocated. Now, I've got loads of memory, obviously. It's not going to be a problem. But it would be a problem. It's a memory leak, basically. So, we need to unallocate that memory. Let's try it here. So, remind me, what did we do here? We did copy 2. Alloc mem. Okay, yeah, alloc mem and free mem. So this is where it all crashes horribly. And the amount of memory we free is we free from the address, which is so 2 plus 256 plus icon count. Oh, icon count times 256. Okay. That shouldn't crash because it's an invalid memory address and it's not going to try and free it. Okay, safety net there, fine. Here we go. Let's see. Toolbar. Let's copy 2 files. Oh. Let's see. Okay. It's the right information. Let's try a bigger one here. Ooh. It works. Input and audio. Yeah, it works. They're in reverse order, but that's, I guess, the order that Workbench does it internally. Ooh. Now, did it free the RAM? Did it free the RAM? I'm going to try something. What I'm going to do is I'm going to put a little pause in the program. And then let's do a 10-second delay. So let's do a 20-second delay just to be sure. So the delay function basically is just frames or ticks, and if it's a PAL machine, it'll be 1/50th of a second. So 1,000 of them is 20 seconds, and that should be fine. So we'll compile that and make that an executable. And now try this again. Is that a cover, that mod playing, is that a cover of the Das Boot music? Das Boot. Sounds familiar. So let's see what happens here. 112.483.728. When I start the copy task, oh, 112.380.6.104. It's a different amount this time. How to know if that's actually getting freed? Well, it seems to be freeing, as in, if you try, it does actually copy. It copies files. It doesn't handle directories yet, but the task, the separate task isn't doing the copying. At the moment, it's still within the body of the program. And the problem is that the copying is still blocking. So it doesn't actually run asynchronously anyway. We can fix that. Let's see. What am I going to do here? Let's see. Okay, so let's go back to it, and we should be able to run it asynchronously with the run command. All we do is add a run in there, and that should run asynchronously. So this is the first test of the multitasking. Let's see what happens. Destination, loads of files, and copy. Yeah, that's worked. Look, the toolbar is moving, so that is copying fine. Our copy task is still in the background and will be for 20 seconds. We might get a chunk of RAM back in a few seconds if it is the case. Okay, we got some RAM back. I wonder if that's it. Is it working? Is it working? Okay, I should have done this actually to check if it was working. Let's copy some more files. So that copies quickly. Drawer helper copy, see it's process 7 there. 112.074.520. 112.074.520. That was what, 300 and something K, wasn't it? When it was finished. Oh, it didn't all come back. But yeah, the command finished then. All I'm passing to the new process is the address of the block of RAM that I've allocated to store the file, the paths in. So I'm allocating it in the parent process and unallocating it in the child process. And I don't know if that's a legit way of doing it. In fact, it feels like it's a horrible hack, but you know, memory in equals memory out. It should work. You know, if you only ever do it once per task. I don't know. But have you? You're familiar with this kind of thing. You know, you do some C coding, don't you? Do you know if that's a valid, a legal way of doing things? It feels like I have a slight memory leak with it. Let's see. Am I calculating the right amount of RAM? So here's our mem allocate. Alloc mem here. (256) times icon count plus 1 plus 2. So drawer help. Why? Something funky going on here. Oh, sorry, it's still running. That's why. Yeah, I'm doing it it's a very ghetto way of doing it, but it seems to work. I'm passing it literally as a DOS argument. Passing the path or the address as a DOS argument. So it's a way of making the computer crash horribly if you run the child process by itself and give it a random address. But if you want to do that, you can just run the poke command and ram some data into a random address anyway, and it'll like it just as much. So free mem 2 plus let's do it the way icon count plus 1 times 256, just to make it consistent. 2 plus icon count plus 1 times 256. Oh. Icon count plus 1 times 256 plus 2. It's the same amount of memory that I'm freeing, and it seems to be allowing me to do it. They're the OS calls I'm using. So the fact that it hasn't crashed horribly, freeing freeing memory that you're not allowed to free. So freeing memory that has already been freed or that isn't available to free is a guru. It's an actual sort of controlled crash that the Amiga will do. I think it'll give you a yellow alert kind of thing. So the fact that it's not doing that seems to suggest that it's working. But the amount of memory I have seems to be disappearing. I'm going to try, our command is there. What I'm going to do is print the memory before and print the memory afterwards. Oh, how do I tell how much memory is free? Private memalloc. Can't be. Well, yeah. If it's private, you're not allowed to share it across tasks, and that's enforceable in later versions of the Amiga OS. So it doesn't really matter if you do that in OS 3, but in OS 4 and probably Morph OS and things like that, it's illegal to do that. So you shouldn't really do that. It has to be a shareable memory. So what I'm doing is I'm just using 0 when I allocate the memory, and that's as the mem type, which is just standard. Which is just kind of like best available memory, which is usually fast RAM, unless you've got no fast RAM left. But yeah, memory disappears. You see, every time you allocate memory, you've got this global memory allocation table, and it has a map. It's like on a disk. It has a map of all the memory that's used and unused. And when you allocate memory, it gets added to that. And when you deallocate it, it gets removed from that again and becomes part of the free memory pool again. So usually what you do is you allocate memory and then you deallocate it to the exact same amount when whatever, for, you know, after whatever purpose you have it for is complete, you deallocate it further down in your loop, let's say. If you don't deallocate it and your program quits, then that memory's gone, because to free up that memory, you need to know the address of it and the size of it. And when your program is gone, then that information is lost. So that memory tag, that memory kind of entry in the memory pool, in the memory list, stays there forever until you reboot. So you can't get that memory back without rebooting the machine. And that's called a memory leak. And that's a thing in all software. It's like, you know, it's a thing that causes problems on mobile phones and stuff like that. Like, you know, if you have an app running in the background and after a day or two things start to get slow and get clunky, it's probably a memory leak. And it's kind of, some languages are better at handling it than others. But yes, exactly. Exactly. C doesn't do that. So if you're using a higher language like Java or something like that, they kind of have the garbage collection that does it for you, and that's fine. But there are ways of, you know, messing with it anyway, and I think no language is 100% foolproof in this kind of thing. Some languages are much better, and things like AREX and stuff like that are quite good at it. But what I'm doing here is Blitz Basic itself is actually probably pretty good at it too. It deallocates memory when it quits, and it does all that kind of stuff for you. You know, when you load samples and you load, you know, you create arrays, you create lists and stuff like that, create variables, it frees all of them up for you. It's very good at that. But what I'm doing here is I'm going behind Blitz's back and I'm talking to the OS directly, which is what C does as well. So I've allocated memory here. Blitz has no idea of what I'm doing there, what I've done. So I need to deallocate that memory. And I need to do that, but I can't do that until I've read the list into the other program, you see. So I don't want to wait on the other program to finish running, because then there's no point in making it multitasking. So I'm going to yeah, so I'm going to deallocate it in the child task when it's completed, when it's read the list. And that should give us our memory back. Doesn't seem to be. Now, I just have to remember the function for, is it avail mem? Yeah. Okay. Oh, it's working now. Avail mem attributes. Any of the alchemy bits are valid as is mem largest, which returns the size of the largest block matching the requirements. Results. Total free space. Alert. Memory insane will be pulled if any mismatch is noted. Oh yeah, and that's where you get a yellow guru alert, which is bad news. Okay, well I'm going to do the same attributes, so the biggest, best chunk. So I'm going to move that down to after it executes. So I've taken out the run, so it's not asynchronous anymore. So our parent program will pause until the child program is finished, and then what we'll do is we'll just put a delay of 1 second in there, and we'll do that. Let's get rid of the delay here. So this should free the memory as soon as it's gone, and let's see what it does. Okay, our executable's there. Let's try it. Okay, toolbar there. That's our destination. Let's send some files over. So that was our 1 second pause. Oh, the debug output has gone too far. And we don't have scrolling in that window, which is quite annoying. You get really used to having a scroll bar in a DOS window. And what if you allocate mem, call copy process passing switch pointer, and when finished, copy process freezes. Well, that's exactly what I'm trying to do. You see, so the memory's allocated. See, here are the steps. Here's our copy to routine. The memory is allocated here. And is 256 times icon count plus 1, because we're copying 1 path more than the number of icons we have, plus 2 bytes. And here's where we're freeing it. So we free it from the memory address, 2 bytes, icon count plus 1 plus, we're just going to add it on to the end just to be absolutely the same. Icon count plus 1 times 256 and plus 2 bytes. So that should be exactly the same thing. I'm going to copy fewer files now so I can see what's going on. Oh, that's wrong executable. That one. So RAM disk is there. Here we go. Let's just copy 4 or 5 files there. Oh, destination, copy. So there's our memory before. 11338 0800, 11338 2856. It doesn't really look like it's losing memory. Let's give me a few more. It's too many. One one three 223032 11322 5280. It doesn't seem to be losing memory. It looks okay. What you'd have to do is switch off, all of the multitasking to get a proper. Oh, nearly spilled my beer. To get a proper read on that, but yeah, I'm not going to do that. So, anyway, this looks okay. Okay. So now the next thing to do is copy over the actual, get that task to do the actual copying instead of the parent task. And I'm out of beer. So I'm going to go and get a bottle of beer. I'll be back in about 30 seconds. Talk amongst yourselves. Cheers. Sláinte, as they say in Ireland. Okay, what did I miss here? Can you print alloc pointer, size of block, and copy process? Well, yeah, I can do. Actually, yeah. I already do, I think, but it kind of gets lost in all the debug output. So, that's the address I'm sending. Yeah. What I'll do is I will do that. And yeah, absolutely, yeah, it's a good point. We should print them both and just make sure that they're Oh yeah, no, I'm not printing this one because I changed it. It is printing the value from the previous allocation, which is not what we want, of course. Oh, yeah, see, it's sending the wrong address. Paths bugger. Paths buffer. Let's do it in hex because I think it's hex on the other one. Paths buffer. Mm-hmm. 2 plus. Okay, and then we have to add the size output to this one. Okay, so we're going to do this. So I've taken the n away from end print there, and that means you don't get a new line at the end of it. So we can just print further down here. Should be the same. Let's give it a go. Oh. Yeah. Icon count. Actually, I better check that I did that right in the other one. And icon count. Icon count, yeah. Okay, let's give it a go. So RAM disk, destination, let's copy 4 or 5 of them. Send. Okay, 6 icons selected. Sending to that address, size 1794. And at the other end, the output from the... Okay. The output from the copy command is this. So 40FA0228, 40FA0228, size 1794. Okay, there we go, they match up. I knew they were going to match up, but you know, well, I always have a, yeah, it's always good to check these things. Yes, cheers. Okay. So I think that's a reasonably safe way of doing things. Probably hideously illegal in terms of yeah, in terms of, you know, freeing up memory in a child task, which is unrelated in general terms. Mind you, the Amiga doesn't really have the concept of these child tasks, or it doesn't really have a fork function or anything that like other operating systems do. So it kind of just fakes it, and they're all basically the same. It's what makes it good and bad. I'm quite impressed at this stage now. What is it? Over an hour in, and we haven't had a crash. I've absolutely jinxed it now, and we have about 20 of them. Okay. So here's our copying code. Yeah, absolutely. In the Amiga, there's not a lot that is actually illegal. It's kind of like, you probably shouldn't do that. And then you're kind of like, okay, so I can do it, is what you're saying. Yeah. Oh. My wife is down in England working today, actually, and she's due back late tonight. Just making sure everything's going to plan. No. Oh, yeah, no, there we go. Yes, she's on her way home. Cool. Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Fine. And I've done a lot of not following the rules already, you know, accessing workbench structs and things like that. It's best, you know, yeah, you know, I'm kind of like, I'm not trying to claim I'm an angel here or anything like that, but I'm trying to only do it where absolutely necessary. But I think this is a good purpose, or a good reason for doing it that way. You can probably construct a giant message and pass the message, and then deallocate the message, which is kind of what we're doing in a very kind of, again, a very ghetto way. That's probably the right way of doing it. You know, set up a message port, construct a message, and then destruct it at the other end. That's the proper way of doing it, I would say. And maybe I'll do it another time. But if I have this working now and it's working without memory leaks, I will just leave it as it is, I think. Okay. Some happy hardcore. Okay, so here's where we do our copying. We'll take that out of here. So Well, first off, that's what caused a crash earlier, closing the progress bar, because it doesn't open a progress bar if there's only one item, because the progress bar is based on items rather than size. I would like to do it in kind of kilobytes or megabytes, which is how a modern system does it. Excuse me, but the issue there is, to do that you have to scan all the files and tot up all the sizes, and on the Amiga that can be quite slow. So for slower systems, I don't really want to do that. I actually I wrote a very basic backup program on Windows, and it does that just fine, because you can scan a directory in a fraction of a second. But on the Amiga, it can be quite slow. Exactly. I'm feeling the pinch for time, and if it works, ship it. Done. It's open source. Someone else can fix it. It's a terrible attitude. Terrible. Oh, where's my cable gone? Okay. Okay. Right. Okay. So here's our copy code. We're going to disable all this copy code. Well, what I'm going to do is I'm going to copy it. We're going to put it into our copy program. If icon count. So it should really go here. I don't know whether to keep the memory allocated and just go through it there. No, we're gonna read them all into the array. We're gonna free the memory, and then we'll do our copying. And we can't do a while because it's not a dynamic list, it's not a linked list. So we'll do for I equals 1 to icon count, and then next I. We don't have our progress bar code in yet, so we're just going to comment that out, and comment out the workbench refresh. No, let's not. Let's do our this is going to make the executable quite big, but can't really be helped. It'll be fine. So we use this task to update workbench. For the moment, yeah, let's just comment out all the progress bar stuff. We'll do that afterwards, but there's a bit of faff to doing that, moving it over, because it's font sizes and things like that have to be taken into account. So, we don't actually open it in this code. That's fine. So copying file. Full path is equal to, we don't need that. So we don't need full path to be calculated or to be computed. So full destination is helpers dest.win path. No, that is our dest path and DOS file part of paths. Path string I. That should be it. So we're taking our file name, we're full file path, taking just the file part and adding it onto the destination path. That's our full destination. That should be it. Copying file. This whole lot we have to comment out for now, because that is to do with the progress bar window. block comment. Okay, and then file copy. Oh, file copy routine has to be copied over, of course. If exists. So we need our file copy routine. Copied count +1. Okay, we're going to get rid of that and we're just going to say it's a cancel flag. And we don't have a last item, so we're going to do eyes icon count, and then it'll fall at the bottom of the loop. Okay, so cancel flag. So we don't need that anymore. Doing it all properly, declaring things up at the top. And we don't need that. Icon count is a word as well. I saw that somewhere. Yeah, there. Get rid of that. Not that you need to do that. It's just, you know, when you're doing it properly, nice to have things like that. I might leave that as it is. File copy routine has to be copied over. So, oh, that's in functions. File copy. So this is our main part of the program. Let's put our functions in here. By the way, was the useless program you made so difficult? No. that was an idea I had, and I kind of it just been like sort of in the back of my mind, and it took like about a couple of days really. There's a lot less involved because it only does one thing, and I'd already it is hacking about a bit with the workbench with the intuition structs, and screen structs and the window structs, but I'd already done that before for other programs. So I knew what I needed to do, and it was quite easy. But what I'll do is I'll put it on. It's on my GitHub. Oh, very fun. This is annoying. Two-factor authentication is pain in the hoop. Done. Right. Anyways, you can find, it's not a whole lot of stuff, but a few things that I've done is it doesn't peek into the intuition graphics, it peeks into the window structures and the screen structures to read where the window locations are and stuff. Anyway, here is my GitHub. I'll probably set up a shortcut for that at some point. So the code, a lot of the code from the earlier tutorials that aren't kind of related to a jam are there. And, excuse me, and when an entry is finished for a jam, it ends up on there as well. So, but there isn't a huge amount there. But you can see Ouija Nights there, which is from my old game jam. Some Blitz tutorials, that's the more general stuff that it doesn't belong to any jam or anything that I've been doing. And Closer is there, which is the entry, and Drawer Helper is set up as a repository, but I haven't actually uploaded any code, I don't think. Yeah, no, that's just empty. But I'll upload code to that at some point. Yeah, and TFE config is there as well. And TFE config, if you're not familiar, is like a config file editor for the Force engine, which is the Amiga port of what's Dark Forces, the Star Wars game, first-person shooter from the late 90s, and it's actually a really good port, really good port. And the only thing that it was missing was a way of mapping the keys, so I added that with a very simple program to handle the config file. So so that code is up there as well, because that's part of because the Force engine is also open source. So there you go. I'll probably put more stuff up there at some point, but yeah, there you go. But yeah, when this Drawer Helper project is finished, that'll end up on my GitHub as well. Okay, where was I? Okay, yeah. So now we've got a copy file function. Does that need any other functions? It needs file functions, and we also need DOS functions. So DOS. So we need those functions. We also need to turn off the error handling and handle the errors ourselves, because we might. That's it there. Error set flags. By the way, quite nerdy with the code and stuff here, but there last weekend I was up in the Scottish Highlands with a couple of my other nerdy passions, steam drains, and there's a preserved railway up there, and the Flying Scotsman was there for its 100th birthday, and oh, that was great. There you go. Got to travel behind the Flying Scotsman, which was not like a kind of a life goal or anything like that, but just since I was like a small child, being a massive fan of this steam engine. Got to see it in the flesh, so to speak. Feel the heat off it, smell it. It was awesome. But there you go. And yeah, the other passion, or hobby, I suppose. I'd like to call it a passion, but I just don't have enough spare time these days, is photography. And I very rarely take out the big camera these days, but had the big camera up in the Highlands as well. Yeah, really must do that more. Okay, so error set flags, that turns off the error handling, because what happens is these Blitz includes have their own error handling code in them, and so if it tries to copy a file that doesn't exist, for example, it'll give an error code, or if it can't access a file or something like that. Whereas we don't want that to happen. We want to handle the error codes ourselves. So we're turning off the errors, so that means they just fail silently, and we can do our own checks afterwards. Because, to be honest, the error codes can be a bit cryptic when they come from the include. It doesn't really make a lot of sense. It's kind of more of a debugging thing, really. So, there we go. Waffle, 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 waffle. Rhubarb, rhubarb, rhubarb. Yeah, the cryptic error codes like that, and sometimes they're not well translated either. They're hard coded in not great English, and they don't make a lot of sense sometimes. But yeah, it's mad, isn't it? You get my phone camera is not very good, but it's good enough that it's not worth carrying the camera around. Are you a Nikon or a Canon guys, Dan? Or dare I say it, Olympus or something? I do think it's funny, because we have Canon, yeah, we have Canon cameras in work, and I'm a Nikon guy, and I go into work and I'm using these cameras, and the zoom is backwards, and every freaking time I zoomed the wrong way. I'm like, oh. It's like the muscle memory is just all wrong because I've been using a Nikon for 20 years. Like, it's just, oh my god! And the menus are wrong, and everything's just wrong. And there's no actual right or wrong way. Okay, well, okay. Well, we'll beg to differ there. Okay, well, I'm going to say the right way is the other way. So you zoom like that, and you're clearly wrong because that's the way a screw thread works. Backwards is not the way a screw thread works. You're screwing back the way it should be coming back. Makes absolutely perfect sense to my engineering brain. But yeah, and I like having my dials here and here, not here, or not here. Anyways, yeah, there you go. But what I think is funny is I've like one of my best friends in Ireland. He's a Canon guy, big Canon guy, and but it's funny even on the forums and stuff like that. You get like these arguments, Nikon versus Canon, and then one guy comes along who owns an Olympus, and then the Nikon and Canon guys both gang up on the Olympus guy. It's like, so it's bizarre. It's like Atari. It's like Amiga, Atari ST guys fighting with each other, and then someone comes along with an Acorn. That's a funny world. But yeah, it's I have a nice camera. Well, it's old at this stage. It's about 10, 12 years old. It's a Nikon D7000, so it's still a crop frame, but it's a nice camera, and yeah, it's a lovely camera actually. Even now, like 10, 12 years later or whatever it is. But yeah, I can't justify upgrading it, but I've got a 24-70 lens on it and a 105 prime, and they are beautiful lenses. Beautiful lenses. Anyways. Also have the Nifty 50 as well, which is brilliant lens. For anyone who doesn't, there's awful off-topic stuff, but the Nifty 50 lens, right? So you got these lenses that are hundreds, maybe thousands of pounds or euros, and then there's this little lens that just happens to be in sort of the sweet spot of how a camera works, how a film camera or a crop frame camera works, and it just makes it really simple to build a lens. And it's a fixed length of 50 millimeters, small lens, but it lets in loads of light, so you can shoot in really dark situations. There's no zoom mechanism on it. It's quite simple. It just works really well, and because of that, it's really cheap, but it makes beautiful photos. And Nikon and Canon both have a version of it, and it's just called the Nifty 50 because it's such a great lens, and it's like 100 quid, and it takes clearer, better photos than my £1,500 24-70, which is a beautiful lens. But the Nifty 50 is just like, hey, this is so good. It's an I have an f1.8, and you probably have the same, do you, Dan? It's a lovely lens. It's like almost disposable, like. Yeah, it's a great lens. Love it. For the money, like, it's unbelievable for the money. And it's just a sweet spot of matching up with how cameras work, and it's, yeah, so good. Absolutely. But anyway, yeah, now, excellent. I find it's a common hobby with the computer nerds, photography. It seems to go well with the technical minds, I think. But yeah, there you go. First time taking the camera out, probably a year or two, which is a shame. But yeah, I will have to get out more with it. Anyways, let's copy some files. Okay, we have our file copy routine. Let's see if this compiles first. You need new syntax mode for that. What am I using for my syntax up here? Syntax 2, optimize 4. Excuse me. Oh yeah, that was an error in the actual include. Yeah. Optimize 4. copy buffer. Oh, okay, we need to include our include file, which is called, where is it? No. Oh, it's not included, it's just at the top here. What is it? Error file read. How many of these do we need? Which one was it? Which one was it failed? Copy buffer. Yes, copy buffer. And let's just, we're going to need the gadgets anyway for some of the gadgets anyway. Let's just copy all them in. All these constants. Let's go here. Gadgets. None of these will be needed, but oh no, prefs gadgets won't be needed either actually. Yeah, no, actually none of them will be needed because they're all the main window gadgets. Prefs, we don't have a prefs window in this program. It's just error codes, okay. Icon list, okay. I thought I'd fix this. Oh yeah, no, I did fix it. I just didn't remove the dynamic list stuff. We don't need that. Icon list path. Okay, we kind of knew that was there. Copying file. Yeah, I probably should, and I thought I did. You see, I thought I did, but it's only the functions that are in the include. But I probably will do that and include, and yeah, that's the neater way of doing it. All right. I thought I did. You see, that's the thing. But I just put them there. But all I did was use the drawer helper funcs. And I thought I did. So maybe I didn't. Oh yeah, no. I did it for the Force Engine config. That's what I did. They're all in there, and so that can be included. Yeah, that's what it is. I was like, I'm sure I did that, but yeah. There we go. Anyway. For now, that'll do because I probably won't need more than that. But we'll see. We'll see. Yeah. It's the problem when you're in the mindset. I've got about 50 different projects on the go. I'm also trying to. Yes. Excellent. Excellent. Yes. I'm trying to work on my Solus stuff as well because I have an update that's nearly done for that. And that's the bits of that are wrecking my brain because I am quite tight on memory on the Solus itself, and that's coded in C, and I've got a lot of C direct memory accesses and like structs and reading structs and pointer arithmetic, and it's all there because I'm so short of RAM, because the thing has about 3K of RAM and I'm almost out of RAM. I've got 100 and something bytes left, and it's getting squeezy tight. So I'm my head's a little bit wrecked with that, but it's okay. It's pushing other stuff out like Blitz Basic stuff. Okay, so where were we? We were icon list path. That's not copying. And print copying file, and the file is parts I. Simple as that. Bracket is expected here. Full destination. DOS add part. Hey, you're right. Should be a second bracket there. Well done. Okay, copied count. isn't declared. It's the word. We'll need that. Yeah, absolutely. Variables constants. Helper. Oh yeah, that's wrong. Destwin. Where's that? Destination path string, isn't that it? Dest paths. Dest paths, yes it is. Dest path. Ooh, it compiled. Invalid memory address, we're fine with that, we knew that. Okay, this might actually copy files. So let's create a minimize executable. Ooh, that took a long time. Let's switch off the debugger. It's better, I think. And what we're going to do is go in here and we're going to disable the file copying code here. Where is it? Okay, copy to, move to, copy to. There we go. And let's disable this entire while loop. And block comment. So it probably looks a bit dark for you guys. Yeah, let's see. Yes, yeah, it's fine. You can read it. It's okay. You know what I'm doing anyway. Block comment, and then let's compile that. Let's see if this works. Let's see if this actually copies files and doesn't shit itself. RAM disk is going to have loads of random files in it. Let's get rid of them. Oh, they're in a nice, neat layout there. Oh, beautiful. Let's delete them with my tool. Yeah. Oh, didn't mean to do that. Oh, where's RAM disk? There we go. Okay, there's our destination. Now let's do a copy and see if we get new files in the RAM drawer. Let's see. The fuck is that? What? In what way, shape, or form am I calling a file requester? 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 24. Is that because 24 files were selected? What happened there? Who called the file requester? I'm a bit worried that I've jumped randomly into a bit of ROM code there, but it was called 24 times. I wonder if I have 24 files selected there. Well, it looks about 24, yeah. So it was called once for each file. And this won't close now because it doesn't know it's finished. Why won't that close? Copy to. Icon count. Oh yeah, because I disabled the code, of course. Yes, Rob. Did that update? Yeah, no, nothing got copied. Nothing got copied, and I called a file requester once for each thing. What happened there? Oh, we need to put the run back in there. But let's comment that out just for now. We probably don't need that delay there. We know what's happening. We're going to run this, copy some files, and see if it still freezes out. Where's our... Oh! Oh, dear.
Oh dear.
There we go, crash count. Oh, proper crash. Whatever the hell was going on there, the operating system didn't like it. Okay, let's try again. Drawer helper and drawer helper copy. So we commented out the command there. So this should just work, but nothing will be copied. But it should just do its thing. Let's open up where we were again. Where was it? Oh, this is a different. Look, yeah, no, this is a different directory. Where was I? 3.9 docs. Yeah, that's where I was. That's the one. RAM disk. Let's copy to there. Let's copy these files from here. Okay. Excuse me. Sorry, this beer is having great crack in there. Okay. This is all fine. Fine. No file requesters. So the file requesters are definitely coming from the copy task. Why? Why? It must be part of one of the includes, because I clearly am calling it here. So function file copy is just reading, writing, allocating memory. There's nothing in there. And it happened the number of times that there were files allocated or files selected. So .add part, destination path, that's a string operation. That shouldn't be it. .file part, paths I. So success is file copy. File copy. If cancel flag. Icons copy, imprint. Oh, what's going on? What is happening? Okay, so let's have a look. Look, I can't see. File copy routine. Let's comment out the file copy routine and see if that stops it from happening. And there's another file copy routine there. Success. Oh. Yeah, maybe. Yeah, you might be onto something there. But yeah, it's a full rebuild there. Let's see. Let's turn off the debug code actually. There's a full debug or a full rebuild there. And let's go back here, and so this should work, but it shouldn't copy files. This should just run through the motions. Let's see. So there we go. Destination. Send some files. No file requester. And we do get a very brief progress requester. We can just see that flashing up there. Okay. But that's, yeah, that file requesters, or that progress requester is part of the original program. It hasn't been moved yet. That's fine. So the file copy routine is causing file requesters. File copy. File open. Yeah. Yeah. Copy but doesn't copy. Copy but gives you just file requesters, empty file requesters. Dozens of them. Okay. It must be part of these file open things. Why are we not getting source? File copy. What is going on here? File copy. Full destination is .add part. Let's see. Oh, I see what's happening. I see what's happening. I've got the wrong variable names on this. And it did not flag an error because you can always inline declare variables. And because I've set it that you can inline declare them. And so it's declaring that as an empty string. That's what happened there. Full paths. Okay. Oh yeah. Oh, dull dest. Full destination. Okay, that should be it. And then this is going to be the same one. Icon success equals not full paths I, and full destination is still the same. Icon full path. Think so? Hope so? Maybe? Let's have a look. I think, yeah, that should be it. That should be it. Let's turn that up. This menu item. Yeah, I know I'm using an old copy 3.8, but that menu item is a bit funky. Okay. Full build. And let's run this one and see. Oops. Okay. Here's our destination. Let's see what happens. Oh, let's no. It didn't copy, but we didn't get file requesters. Why didn't it copy? Oh, I didn't mean to do that. Let's see what the... Why did we not copy? Because we've disabled it. Oh, what? Oh, so maybe I'm still getting it. But no, okay, I think I know what the bug was, but I also thought I fixed it when I had disabled that bit of code. So let's go and re-enable this command string. Now it should copy. Ay, ay, ay. Destination. Did that copy stuff? It copied stuff. It didn't refresh the window, but it copied stuff. Why didn't it refresh the window? Looks like it copied stuff that I wanted it to copy. Yeah, and it did it asynchronously. Cool. Progress. Progress bar. Progress. Okay, let's see why it did not refresh the window. Draw helper. So AREX send message menu window destination path string. Destination path string isn't. Oh no, it is a destination path. Icons to copy to. What did this one do? What did this one do? AREX send message workbench menu. Helpers destwin path. Invoke window.update. Why is that not working? Helpers destwin path. Because that should be the exact same string that we have at this end. Well, the reread, that part isn't asynchronous because that should only happen at, that's the copy task should fire that request off. So the copy task should only, the copy task isn't itself is synchronous, as in it's a single task. So it should only call that when it's finished copying. You see, it's outside the main loop. AREX send message window. Yeah, so it shouldn't be in the it's disabled in the main code. So we add our quote symbols around the destination path. Invoke window.update. Why does that not work there? AREX send message. Have I done any other? Do I need to initialize that? Yeah. I haven't turned on the AREX port. And why am I still calling it drawer companion? I initially called it drawer companion, then I thought that sounded a bit naff. So I changed it to drawer helper. That's the problem. Let's go up here and initialize our AREX functions. Drawer. Now, I foresee another problem. Because if you've got multiple help tasks running at the same time, they are going to you can't have the same number. You can't have the same address. How to solve this one? Okay, so I need to have I need to open a port, an AREX port for the copy task to be able to refresh Workbench with the copy task. But each copy task has to have its own separate port. So what I'm going to do is, let's see, where are we? Let's be, yeah, well, the Workbench AREX port is always Workbench, but how the refresh with AREX, you always have to have a sender. Well, with all messages, you have to have a send port and a receive port, and they both have to be unique. So when it was all in the one body of code, it was all coming under the drawer helper AREX port's name, the parent program's AREX port. But this task isn't part of the parent program, so it has to have its own separate port. It can't use the parent port, and therefore it needs to have a unique address, because you could say, if you like drawer helper copy, yeah, that's the command. Yeah, that's the command here. You see, workbench window and invoke window dot update. That's it. It's as simple as that. But to send from here, I need to have a sender's port, let's say. So I basically need to give it a unique address. And what I'm going to do is, if you look, we get our memory address here. I'm going to just tag on the memory address, which is like onto the port. So each one is unique because it'll be a different task each time, hopefully. If it uses the same address, it'll mean that the previous task is finished and it's just replacing it. So it should be fine. Should be fine. Let's give it a go. Let's give it a go. Parstring 1. Parstring 1. Where are we? Drawer helper. Let's try that. And so it'll be drawer helper and 8 digits of or whatever number of digits it is. It's not hex, maybe 10, 12 digits of an address. Let's see. Create minimize executable. And let's run this one. Okay. Now let's one, and so we got our toolbars now, and we just want to delete these files, I suppose. And those, and delete. Can wipe out vibes from this music. Okay, that's our destination. Let's have a look at, let's copy some files and see if it refreshes. Okay, hold on to your butts. Oh, how did I miss them? Okay, here we go. Refreshed. Yeah. Yes, it worked. Excellent. Excellent news. Cool. So that's an asynchronous copy that it's doing there. Next thing we need to do is get our progress bar back, because now our progress bar needs to belong to the child task and not the main body of code. Javier, that's a great idea. Great idea. I have just run out of beer. I'm going to get another beer and celebrate this. You've got all the good ideas. Be back in a second. Hello, hello, and beer. Oh. Oh. Right, so excellent. Happy with that, actually. That is working quite well. It's working, it's working. Okay, so progress bar. Progress bar brings with it, I said this before, brings with it a lot of fat. Okay, So drawer helper functions are in here. So I don't know if we need to. I'm going to leave them in here as well for the moment. What I did was, if you look down here, where when I initialize the AREX, I add on the first parameter to the program, which is the memory address that's passed. So each task is going to have a memory address. Each task has its own unique memory address and passed to it, and that's the address of the list of files, and that's appended onto the name of the AREX port. So it means that every copy task has its own separate AREX port with a different name, and it's going to be a unique name each time. So it worked. It doesn't need to be a kind of a recognizable name or anything like that, because as soon as a copy is finished, the task quits and the port disappears. So you're not actually using the port for anything except to send messages to Workbench. Except to send one message to Workbench, which is the refresh. Now, annoyingly, Workbench also has an API that you can access directly, and it's a lot more efficient than using AREX, but it doesn't have these functions in it. These functions only seem to be available through the AREX port. And it basically what it's doing is it's calling the menus directly. So all the refresh does is say update. That's all it does. Is it tells Workbench that I want to choose this menu item and fire it and click it or whatever, and that's how it works. But there isn't an equivalent to the menu kind of the menu invocation command in the Workbench API itself, which is annoying because it should be there, and that would be a lot quicker and easier to do, and you wouldn't have to deal with AREX ports. But hey ho. Yeah, so where are we? Okay. I'm just looking at my phone there. I seem to be getting a lot of messages. I'll check that out in a minute. Yeah, the Amiga way indeed. Okay. So what I need to do is I need to get the open progress bar, close progress bar, and just update progress bar. There are 3 functions. Oh, disable helper. Where is it? Enable helper. Open progress bar. Oh, it's in the middle. I need to copy these 3 functions over into the copy subtask. We're going to leave them there for now, just in case we want to use them as well. I don't want to use the full drawer helper include because there's a lot of functionality there that the copy task doesn't need, and it just makes the executable even bigger than it already is. Blitz is kind of a bit fat for the executables it makes are kind of fat, so they need to be. You need to be careful how many of these things you throw around, because it's very easy to just keep on adding stuff and kind of like all of a sudden you end up with a 0.5 megabyte executable, and you're like, oh. Okay, so let's see what our prerequisites are for this, or our requirements. That's debug code, we don't really need that. Our dependencies, let's say. Oh, that's our file copy routine. Open progress bar. Event window. We don't need that because each copy task is only ever going to have 1 progress bar. So WinID is equal to, we don't need that. So window, we're only going to ever have 1 window. It's going to be window 0. Screen width screen height. We don't have helpers, so that it can go. Font Y size. Oh, actually, yeah. So we need to do all our screen width, screen height, font Y size stuff. We need to do that outside the functions at the start of our program. Fonty size. What? Screen height. Fonty size, font Y size. It's like oh yeah. Oh, well spotted. Well spotted. I thought you were saying like what am I saying? Well spotted. Oh, there's an eagle eye there. There's some keyboard dyslexia there. It's bizarre. I sometimes mix up characters on the keyboard that sound the same. They're not beside each other. They sound the same. I'm like, I'm not dyslexic. It's one of those weird, disconnects in my brain. Brains are crazy things. I think they should be banned. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Okay, so screen width, screen height. Yeah. We'll have to calculate the fonty size, and that we do that here. That's it. We don't need the intuition base for this, but we do need the font text attribute, and that means we're going to need the all.res or amigalibs.res in here. Oh, we already have it. Excuse me. Oh my god, this beer is working me hard. You don't need to know that. But hey, this is what happens. Okay, so this is how we get our font information from the screen structure, or a new type as I called in Blitz. So this is a text attribute that's stored in the screen, basically the screen struct. So the screen will have a default font, and we want to use that font for drawing our window because we don't want it to use Topaz, which is what happens if you just open the window with no font information. So we want to use that font, but we need to find out the name of the font and the size of the font, and then we have to load a copy of that font for our own use. Well, when I say load a copy, it's already loaded by the operating system. We just get a kind of a pointer to it. And then B, we need to use that to calculate sizes of gadgets and things like that and the layout of the window. So this is our screen struct here. Screen 0. So have we actually got screen 0? We don't. So what we're doing is so first off, we allocate a workbench screen, the workbench screen, to a Blitz screen ID, screen 0, because then we can interact with it, we can open windows on it, we can, that's it, we can do that all through the Blitz interface. But once we're there, we can we get the screen, the actual OS screen structure, and that is stored in WB screen, and inside that is a pointer to the font structure, and that's the default font for that screen, and that's used for things like the window title, the screen title, the gadgets. It's basically used for everything that isn't explicitly defined somewhere else. Now, I know I still have loads of debug output here. Don't worry about that. We'll open a requester if we can't find the font. Okay, so the font, basically we get the name and the size from that section of memory, if it exists. If it doesn't, we always have to check if it exists. If it doesn't, you know, because it's a struct and you don't. And then we load the font, and that's font 0. It's a Blitz object, but that is then, as far as I remember, the default font that's used once you open a window. If A or X in it, drawer helper. Oh yeah, that's separate. That's separate. So we're fine. We should have our font loaded then. We should be able to open a window. Oh, Rob. Oh, we don't need them anyway, so we can delete them. Fine. GT button. Okay. We don't need a separate window ID. We can just do this as a 0. Attach list. GT list. So we're using GT list 0 and Windows 0. We're not going to use constants or anything like that because we literally have one window. We can only ever have one window, and we have one gadget in it, which is the cancel button. So we're just going to use zeros. Helpers, we don't need progress with. Let's get rid of that and just say progress with. So that'll be a word variable as well. Progress with. What's next? Oh, we need to share that as well. Do we? Why is that not? Oh yeah, because it was part of the helpers array. Progress with. What's next? Win ID is 0. 0. Oh, shit, didn't need to do that. Didn't mean to do that. Helpers. Okay, we've got more variables to here to declare. Progress max, progress current, progress open, cancel flag, progress max, progress current, progress open. Progress max, current, open, open. Okay, cool. What's next? Okay, helpers, bevel box. That's just progress with. Oh, we'll have to share these as well, won't we? Oh, it's already shared. Progress max. And we share all those variables because shared variables are the way forward. Cancel flag. I'm pretty sure I don't need all of those progress ones. I think there's one of them that isn't used. Maybe progress current. And progress open we can tell by the number of, because it'll always be opened when there's more than one file to be copied. I think. Let's just progress max, progress max. We don't need the event window. Close progress bar. We don't need the event window, and we don't need that. Progress open equals false. We probably don't even need that because we don't need to know, because we're not multitasking within this copy task. And we definitely don't need that. Because that... Oh, there's a thing. Do we want to be able to use the helper while it's copying? I don't see why not. I think woe betide. You know, I think yeah. I think it should be the yeah. It's down to the operator's common sense not to do 2 copies of the same thing or something like that. Have I shot myself in the foot with this copy task now? How do we check? Oh, we could check if the port still exists and use that as a kind of, we poll whether the port exists, and that will tell us. Actually, we could even send a message. We've already got an ARIX port open in the parent task. We could send a message back to the parent task to say it's completed and to unlock the helper, because the helper window gets locked. Okay, we'll deal with that later anyway. But excuse me. Progress current. Progress current. That's already there. Progress width. Oh, we need that. Oh, I didn't mean to delete it all. Can't beat a bit of prodigy. Progress width. Border widths. Ah, we have to get the border widths of things. Border widths. Okay, we also need to calculate them. Okay, border widths. Whoa. No, that's not what I wanted. And that def type is, or that new type is that. So let's copy that over as well. Border sizes, okay. So now we're storing border sizes. They're the window border sizes. We need to also calculate them. So let's see. Border width is where? Oh, around about the same place we get our font information. It's all in the screen struct. Cool. So yeah, so the window widths, the border widths are actually a property of the screen rather than the window, although they get copied onto the window as well, I think. But so you can tell what they're going to be before you even open the window, because you just go and have a look at the screen struct. That's what we're going to do down here. Let's add that in here. Disable helper, yeah, that's something we need to look at later. Progress open. Look. Detach list. Oh yeah, these are all just 0. Why is that not defined? That's a screen type, isn't it? WP screen, where are you? Why is it defined up there? Or why? Yeah, I don't know. We're only going to use it once here. Screen with capital S because it's an OS define. Okay. Oh, it compiles. Let's give it a go. Okay, I'm slightly nervous about this now. Let's see. Now, so we're expecting a progress bar. Oh, we might have two progress bars because we've still got the old one. Although the old one will disappear very quickly. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to copy a load of files. I'm going to slow the CPU right down because I'm on an emulator now. So let's slow the CPU right down. We've got a bunch of files selected. Oh, look at that. Look at that redraw. Okay, and now let's copy them. Let's get a progress bar. One progress bar. Oh. No progress bar. Did it copy that quickly? Oh, we've disabled the calls to the progress bar. Oh, but of course, Rob, but of course. So the copy task has a progress bar disabled. We're going to disable the progress bar in the main program now. Copy source dest. Copy to. Progress bar. Close progress bar. Where's update progress bar? That was in the copy routine itself there. So that's fine. Oh. So what I'm going to do is enable it in this and we should get a progress bar working. So, oh, ouch. Progress bar, update progress bar. We don't need that line there. Oh, we should enable this because this is our cancel code. Although we don't need to know the window because there's only one window involved. That should be it. We need to open the progress bar here if we need it. So where are we? Here we go. This should do it. So icon count equals 1 or greater than 1. So if more than one icon selected, open the progress bar. Close progress bar. That looks like it. Let's compile that. Oh. Open. Oh yeah, we don't need that. It's just the icon count. And close progress bar. They're all going to be the same. They don't need to know what window they are because there's only the one window. EV. Oh dear. Cancel flag. It's true. True. That compiles. Let's go. Minimize executable. Fine. Now, let's run our main program, see if it works. I might call it a night in a short while. Although I've still got a bit of beer left. Okay. There's our destination. Let's copy a bunch of these. Let's slow down the CPU. and copy. Oh, there's a progress bar. Oh, yeah. It works. It works. And let's do it again. Okay, don't mind the debug, and it's a bit slow to get started. It's fully asynchronous. Because I can go here and now get the information on that file. Oh. Oh, that's excellent. If I do say so myself. Oh, happy with that now. Excellent. Cheers. Cheers, guys. Yeah, the refresh is quite slow, and that's why you don't do it after every icon, because on a slow machine, which this is like A1200 speed, like stock A1200 speed, it'll be quite slow to redraw a window that has dozens of files in it. Yeah, and we kind of forget how rubbish that was back in the day. But yeah, I tell you, I was a happy boy when I got my when I got an accelerator and I got a SCSI setup, because even though SCSI hard drives are so much more expensive, I got a SCSI adapter, a SCSI to IDE adapter, and I used a standard IDE hard drive. And I took the hard drive I had on the normal IDE port of the A1200, moved it onto the SCSI setup for my Blizzard, and just the difference in speed of accessing everything was amazing. Like, it was just like night and day. That's a good question. Let's find out. Let's find out, Javier. Oh, the redraw. Okay, let's copy some files and cancel them. I hope it does, because the code is just copied from the other one. Let's see. Oh, it's copying, it's copying, it's copying, it's cancel. It works. Uh-oh. Why is that window busy? Oh, no, there we go. It's okay. It was just... That was a slowness thing. There we go. I am happy with that. I am happy with that. Now, do we do more, or do we leave it at that? Let's just have a little bit of a look and see what we can do. We do something small, maybe. Oh, CPU full speed. Of course, that's running with the debugger as well, which slows everything. It doesn't copy the attributes. That is a fair point. I don't think Workbench does either, does it? Or does it? Well, let's have a look. Let's delete all these. Delete. And let's copy something. Workbench.doc. That is 2022. 20th of April 2022. Oh. It will copy the comment because it copies the entire file. It copies the icon for the file, like, so it should copy the comment. But that's a fair point. The metadata, I'll have to have a look at that. Good point. Good point. Well made. Let's run this and see what we can do. But yeah, we can set them. There are DOS functions for setting those attributes, I'm nearly sure. I'm 100% sure. I'm 90% sure, actually. So delete that from the RAM disk. Workbench.doc. Send that. Okay, oh, it did just refresh the whole window. Okay, it didn't, it redrew everything. Let's see. Oh, no, that's not what I wanted. No, it gives today's date. Yeah, that's a fair point. I'm going to have to do a metadata copy after that. Yeah, because before I was using the OS copy command, and that was doing the hard work for me. Oh, another thing I want to add is to be able to cancel within a file. So when you're copying a file, it'll be you know, if you're copying a giant file, let's say you copy a gigabyte file or something like that, and you actually realize, oh, this is going to take me 20 minutes, and you don't want to wait. I want to be able to copy that and delete the partial file at the destination. Yeah, it's a funny one. I think I'd like to replicate the workbench behavior, as in, you know, copy the date. But yeah, it is essentially a new file when it's copied and not moved. When you move a file, yeah, it's just the same copy has been moved, the same file has been moved, but a copy of a file is a new file with the identical content. But the comment is a good one as well, and the comment and the protection bits. Let's have a look at see what the documentation says about the DOS include, because or the file include. Let's see. No, not that one. Oh, it's still running. That's why. Oh, sorry, we're here. Let's see what the DOS include contains. DOS. Let's see, the tool types are part of the. Yeah, that's a good idea, actually. That's a good idea. Make it an option. Get file date. Get file. Yeah. Get file date. It's as a string. Ugh. Set file date. Oh, there's no function for setting the date. Oh, okay. Something I need to cover, something I need to research. Maybe it's possible through DOS.library, but I'm sure there's a way. I'm sure there's a function for. Actually, I'm going to look up the developer docs now. For setting. When you copy a file, it gives you a new date. In Workbench, it keeps the original date. In CLI, I don't know. Let's find out. Workbench.doc is our test case here. Let's see. Let's find out. Let's experiment. Because normally copy clone is you use the clone argument to make an exact copy of a file. Where are we? Workbench.doc. What? No update. Workbench.doc. And that has today's date. You see? Okay, so copying in the CLI gives it a new date. Copying it in Workbench does not. Hello, a group of Italians. Welcome in. Hello there. Hello there. Hello there. That is that's Kareem, my my non-Amiga fan. Welcome in. Cheers. Happy Friday. I was talking to you earlier. He's a friend of mine from work. I was talking to him earlier, and not long after I was talking to you, or was I talking to you about it? But Master Control swallowed one of my documents and never gave it back. I spent the entire day working on a TMV, and it disappeared on me. And I could have set fire to the place. I was so angry. Yeah, master control, the holy grail of document control, except it's not. It's shite. But anyways, yeah, I'm feeling better now. And unlike in work today, I'm actually making progress here. This is working. Things are doing things. Yeah, it was a bad day. It was a bad day. And I tried to flip the bench, but the benches were nailed to the ground. So that didn't work. Yeah, bad news. Bad news. But anyways, it's all good now. It's the weekend. I've got beer. Happy out. So, here's the thing. If you copy it with Workbench, you get the original date. If you copy it with the shell, you get a new date. Yeah. It'd be a proper Hulk moment, wouldn't it? Ripping up chunks of floor and everything. Yeah. So, yeah. So I don't know what to do here. We've got one of each. So, as Javier was saying, I think an option would be good, but I have to figure out how to actually write the date, to manually set the date instead of letting Amiga DOS set it for me when I open a new file. I don't know. Because okay, so I'm looking at date stamp. Obtains the date and time in internal format. Okay, so you can read the date. I don't know how to set the date. I don't really see... oh, no, there's a set file date in DOS.library. Yep. Yeah, I just found it as well. Yeah. There you go. V36 as well, yeah. Yeah. I will have to... I'll have to look into that, because that'll involve converting timestamp formats and stuff like that as well. It's a bit messy. I will put that down as a nice to have. You know what? I'm actually going to put that in the source code. Let's go up here, up to the top. So, group of Italians. When you were here the last time, I think I was working on this as well. This is a program that gives little helper things to the windows in the Amiga operating system. What I've done here is I've made a new task so that when you copy files and stuff like that, it doesn't pause the whole thing, so it multitasks. This is what I'm doing here. It's multi-threading, if you like. It's a bit of a ghetto version of multi-threading, but it'll do. But it works, and it's just like the fine-tuning of it now that I'm at. So, date stamp versus date time. Yeah, I'll have to look into that. But so I need to do just a couple of housekeeping things here. I'm going to do yeah. Yeah, we had one crash where the machine absolutely and completely collapsed in on itself, and you know, it's not without reason. I'm basically doing brain surgery on the OS here. Like, it's not in Windows, you're protected from this, and in all modern operating systems you're protected from this. But part of what makes the Amiga OS so cool is being able to just delve right into how it actually works and hack about with it. And that's class, and it's also dangerous. So I'm surprised there's only been one crash here, because I've been swapping around chunks of memory with text in them, and freeing memory from a different task that created it or that allocated it, and all these things are bad news. They're kind of things, if you study programming now, they say don't do that. For sure. One crash so far is pretty good going, because it's nearly 3 hours. Jeez. Okay, but I'm going to put in here a to-do list, and then there's what was that again? Oh yeah. optionally set date. I'll also have to send that setting across when I'm sending over the list of files. It's just an extra byte. Will your program work on a non-your Amiga? Yeah. Yeah, works fine on my machine. Prompt when file exists. It also doesn't do that. It works very much in a shell way. So it just replaces the file if it exists. It only prompts if it can't write to the file, as in the file's open in another program or something like that, and it can't overwrite it. It'll give you an error message then. But I might do that. I might make that an option as well, because that could be quite annoying. I know I like a minimum of intrusion from the OS. Yeah, it's clearly a problem with your machine. I don't like having too much stuff from the OS, but I know it's also dangerous to not have requesters like that, because people will say, oh, I thought that was going to do something and it did something else, and now I've lost 6 months of work. So I'm going to I'll make it an option, if that makes sense. I think it does. Okay, so I've got a to-do list. Set date the same as the source and ask for permission to overwrite. There'll be settings. I'll have to pass on a couple of bytes. Yes and yes to all, yes. Or yes and never ask me again. Ever. Because there are some settings that the program has. It has a... Yeah. See, this is the thing. I understand where those questions come from, but when I get a requester that has all 5 or 6 of those options, it annoys me because there are too many options there. It's like, yeah. If you copy a load of stuff in Workbench, you see 5 options: replace, replace all, skip, skip all, and cancel. Yeah, I don't like all those buttons. It's it pains me to say it, but it's one thing that Windows does slightly better, because it says you get a checkbox and do this for the next 27 files or something, you know. And I would like a checkbox: yes, no, cancel, and all as a checkbox. I would like to do that. I don't think that's possible with the Amiga OS structures, requester structures. I don't think it's possible, unless you roll your own. I could make a window that just has the buttons in it, but then it won't be an actual requester like this. Decisions. Not many things I'll say that I prefer the Windows way of doing things, but that is one of them. Where did that... Oh, that was the... So new tool, new requester.class. Yeah, that's not going to happen in the next 2 weeks, is it? Yeah, definitely not happening in the next 2 weeks. A group of Italians, Kareem, this is I'm sure I said it the last time, this is a programming competition, you see, and the deadline's the end of October, and now I'm really feeling the pinch. And I know I have a month to go, but I've got family visiting, there's various weekends are taken up with stuff between now and then. There's an Amiga, actually, you know what, there's a 2-day house party in Glasgow with one of the Amiga guys. If you want to go, I'll bring you along. It's 2 days of drinking and playing Amiga games and listening to Amiga music and drinking. If you're interested, but yeah, one of the guys is well, let's say he has a very big house, and he's holding a 2-day house party basically. But yeah, let me know if you're interested. But yeah, anyway, we're getting close to the deadline here. I don't have too many weekends or too many nights left to work on this, and I have an actual job and actual real world things to do. So I won't be making a new requester class. No, I won't. I might make a window with a couple of gadgets in it and a checkbox and call it a requester. It's not a requester, but it's a rough approximation of a requester. I might do that, but we'll see. Anyways, exactly. That's exactly what I'm saying. I can do that very easily. I can do that in 10 minutes. It'll look clunky. But yeah, I might do that. Who knows? Yeah, permission to overwrite. I'll have to. Yeah, we'll explore that another time between now and the end of October. Okay, but I think what I'm going to do is I may call the yeah, okay, we'll put it in the to-do list. But I might finish up the stream soon enough. Okay, and because I'm just out of beer, and I know Cream, you've just come in now, but we're gonna go raid someone else in a few minutes. Have a think. Are you in a music mood? Or let's see, or a nerdy mood, or a retro computing mood, or Charlie Farr mood. Anyways, let's okay, so there we go. Requester class for approximation for Javier. Well, you know what? As it happens, there are a couple of people I follow who are well, easy on the eye, but I think they kind of trade on that, and it's not. It's not. But okay, so I'm going to give you a couple of options for who to raid. I'm going to save that. I have your to-do list. We will look at that the next day. What have we got here? We've got our original helper. We've got our functions. We've got original code. They're all saved. Excellent, all saved. What are we thinking? Are we thinking a bit of music? There's a girl I follow, and she plays guitar and does requests. And then there's my friend Kiffer, the geologist from Ireland, and he's playing Baldur's Gate, the original one. So a bit of retro there. Not quite as retro as this, but late 90s retro, early 90s retro. No, it's all good. The feedback is good. So yeah, thanks for that. So any choices we might like? Kiffer is a friend of mine from back home, and yeah, he's playing basically, a sort of a PC bound Dungeons and Dragons. Will we go and give him a look? Yeah, okay. Let's go raid Kiffer, unless anyone has any major hankering for some guitar music. Right, let's go and raid Kiffer. Baldur's Gate Enhanced Edition. Okay, let's go. Thank you everyone for joining in, though. Very good to have you all here. I really appreciate you spending your Friday afternoon or evening with me, and having a couple of drinks. But yes, good night, Javier, and thank you for the suggestions. And oh, what's going on here? Let's just have a quick look at this. Yeah, you got the extra hour on us here. What's going on here? Why is that? Okay, let's do that. And we're going to raid. Thank you very much, and good night. And what else was I doing? Yeah, let's say good night, and I'll probably stream again during the week sometime next week. Okay. Good night, everyone. Take care of yourselves, and thanks very much.
symbols. No, you're wrong. Right? Not you're wrong. But hey, Daedalus, how are you doing? Welcome, welcome, Raiders. We are just failing to backstab an enemy right now. We are playing Baldur's Gate Enhanced Edition and arguing about how much power is needed to do ChatGPT. So, six symbols. If it's 2 cents per query, then it's €2 per 100 queries, and you could definitely boil a kettle for €2. A kettle is a 3 kilowatt device, takes about 5 minutes to boil a liter. So if you're boiling a liter of water in a 3 kilowatt kettle in 5 minutes, you're using 200 watts max. 200 watt hour. Like 200, like it's very little. Oh yes, sorry. No, it's 0.02 cents. Thank you. That is a error because I am excited about the raid. Yeah. €2 for 1,000. That's different then. Yep. No. Good catch. My bad reading.
What you want?
Please kill this man. Wow. Just kill him. Oh, he's running away. He's afraid.
Yep.
Sorry, that was unnecessary. So we can start bringing in the rest of our troops.